Georgy Nefyodovich Zakharov was recognized as one of the best pilots during the Great Patriotic War. A man with a difficult fate, he was able to achieve the highest results and showed by his example how to go to the end and not give up. Childhood. George's father worked on the railroad. In the family, children were brought up very strictly. Times were hard then. Once in 1918, his father fought at work. He was arrested, and when he returned home, he became even more evil, and George and his brothers got even more. Zakharov later recalled how everyone in his village starved. First his grandmother died, and then his parents. Only he and his sister survived. For a few days we lived by cutting strips from the horsehide that was used to cover the door, and my older sister Vasilisa used these strips to make us a concoction. Like many orphans in those days, Georgy began to wander. He and other boys wandered, slept in barns, and tried to get money for food. George was saved by his brother. Andrew went off to war and did not return for a long time. And the future pilot thought that he had passed away. Andrew was able to get a job at a sawmill. There was more money, and he took care of his younger brother and sister. First flights. George went to the service in 1930. He wanted to become a pilot and went to Stalingrad to the school to learn all the necessary skills. He got his first combat experience in Spain. Colleagues told how after getting to the front, Zakharov showed ingenuity. He studied a lot. He also paid attention to the peculiarities of German flights. Already in 4 days, he shot down an airplane in an air battle. And once his aircraft tried to hit 12 enemies at once, Zakharov managed to escape unharmed. In the war with the Japanese, he managed to find their secret development. Zakharov shot down the plane, but was injured himself. He survived in the taiga until Soviet soldiers found him and rescued him. After this feat, he was personally congratulated on his successful mission by Voroshilov and promoted to colonel. The Great Patriotic War. Georgy Zakharov knew that soon the Germans would dare to attack. He regularly patrolled the borders and reported strange activity and troop concentrations near the borders. He told General Pavlov of the danger, but he did not listen to him. Zakharov recalled how even before the war began, the Germans behaved very brazenly. Reconnaissance pilots did not try to hide their activity at all. They even landed on Soviet airfields and laughed openly at Soviet soldiers. They were all released so that there would be no conflict with Hitler. The experienced pilot realized that the war could not be avoided. Therefore, he camouflaged all the air equipment he was in charge of. Thanks to this, in the first days of the war, airplanes were saved, and the advance of German equipment was not so rapid. Zakharov himself was also constantly in the air. In the vicinity of Minsk, he was able to hit an enemy messer. In this case, the Germans had an advantage in technology, but the Soviet pilots fought bravely, and the attack of the enemy was able to slow down. He disobeyed his commander. A few months after the beginning of the war, Zakharov was ordered to go to the airfield near the town of Kizatsk. The colonel did not follow the order. He knew that there his plane would be destroyed. The airfield was in a terrible state. Zakharov decided to fly to Mostaisk and participate in the battles there. When the commander of the troops wanted to punish him, the pilot told about the huge number of enemy tanks in the area of Kizatsk. Immediately after landing, he was accused of cowardice and violation of orders. He managed to persuade the head of the special department to fly with him on an airplane to check what was going on with the airfield. Having flown to the place, they saw our airplanes burning on that airfield and German tanks crawling on its territory. Zakharov made the right decision, and he was forgiven. Being a deputy commander, he took part in the battles for Stalingrad. Colleagues recalled that he was always in the headquarters, was a very tactful man, and showed wit. At the same time, he never tried to stand out and always listened to his subordinates. For his courage in 1945, Zakharov was awarded the Hero of the USSR. In addition to staff work, he made more than 150 combat sorties and shot down more than one enemy plane. In battle, he was brave, decisive, and unrestrainedly assertive, which constantly serves as a model of courage and courage for his subordinates.